Wow. Sources say that Gervonta Tank Davis, Leo Santa Cruz Showtime pay-per-view to be announced tomorrow, mañana. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to my channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, the Cash App, and the Patreon family. We working. Head over to my Patreon, link in the description, or you could become a YouTube channel member. Hit the join button below. Great news. Boxing is really back. We're getting the overflow and getting wind of a lot of movement, a lot of traction, right? Showtime has a major announcement. It sounds like something Premier Boxing Champions has done before, where they did the Fox up front and Showtime up front. Looks like they finally put together and are ready to announce their calendar. As you know, boxing has been extremely slow, and we're in a pandemic. There's concerns about live fights and safety precautions needed and testing and, you know, just keeping the fighters healthy and safe. But it looks like Showtime about to drop a monster. You guys see, they're doing a Zoom press conference tomorrow. So there might be some fights that we don't know about. But one fight that we've heard the rumblings and the rumors for is Gervonta Tank Davis, and that's set to be announced according to many sources. Mike Coppinger is also one of the people. I've checked with some people. It looks legit. And this is not shocking because we've heard about this for a while. It just wasn't confirmed. Breaking: Gervonta Davis and Leo Santa Cruz will meet October 24th on Showtime pay-per-view. Sources tell The Athletic the event, along with 7 other Showtime cards, will be announced tomorrow. All 8 shows at the Mohegan Sun in Connecticut. Wow. Now, I've covered all of Tank's last fights, his fight in Baltimore, the Black Hollywood Atlanta fight against Gamboa. He's a star. So this is big news. Showtime, shout out to them, Premier Boxing Champs. I mean, we need some big fights. Tank, again, he has all the star power. He went and sparred with Ivan Redcash, so obviously he knew of a fight being put together. And just Tank sparring overshadowed a lot of what's been going on in boxing. And that's just sparring, little 30-second clips. Tank posted this. Mayweather said light work. Tank said miss me with the bull. And he posted this picture. I really want to see Leo Santa Cruz. I think they're fighting. At first I thought it was going to be at 135, but I think it'll be at 130. Shout out to Showtime. Now, this is crushing news for old media. I've kept it and been real with you. Like I say, my slogan, tell the truth. Tell the truth. And there were a lot of people who prematurely jumped the gun. Last year they were saying, oh, but Fox is getting all the PBC fights, and, you know, Showtime, why should people even cancel? You had Eddie Hearn, who said Showtime was going to go in the way of HBO boxing. When DAZN came out, Eddie Hearn said Showtime boxing would bow out and people above Steven Espinosa's head would force Steven Espinosa's hand to get out of the boxing game. Now we're hearing about DAZN doing pay cuts, certain fights like Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor falling apart. Other fights are having difficulty getting completed or falling apart. You know, money woes. Canelo's next opponent, you know, doesn't sound like the most desirable name, or people coming off momentum wins. Now we're hearing about both Charlos being back, Jermell and Jamal. I believe Jermell will go on Fox, and then Jamal's probably going to be on Showtime. So this is up in the ante for Showtime schedule. And then now, sorry, there's someone outside. And then now with Gervonta Tank Davis coming back, I mean, this is just a lot of star power. Now, old media, they're going to be sweating bullets because these are huge announcements. We haven't had really much massive fights. There's fights that are talked about, but if Showtime announces these fights as we're hearing, this is just big. You know, Top Rank, their biggest fight is probably Teofimo Lopez versus Vasyl Lomachenko. But in my opinion, I don't think Bob wants to push forth that fight unless he can get some type of crowd. But it looks like these fights are set to be announced regardless of a crowd or not. So that, it's just, these will be the biggest fights that boxing has announced. I'm looking forward to each and every one of them. Tank Davis, he's definitely fun to watch. He's entertaining in and out of the ring. He's undefeated. He was a champion in that division. He got speed. Leo Santa Cruz, I really like him too. I followed his whole career. And Leo Santa Cruz, he presents a different puzzle for Gervonta Davis, and he's a big name. So I like it. If all things being made equal, this would have been a great fight to put in the Staples Center, LA. See, this is the sparring. This would have been a great LA fight, but we're in crazy times where we might not get a crowd and things like that. So as a result, I just rather see it. I'm fiending for boxing. UFC has done a great job of bringing their programming back and, Fight Island and just making it work. So if the PBC, if all these fights happen and, announced as planned, crazy fight. Tank, has he fought someone with the volume and the name of a Leo Santa Cruz? You can argue those points, but then the same can go for Leo Santa Cruz. Has he fought anyone like a killer like Tank? Southpaw, crazy power. Leo Santa Cruz said he wants to prove he's not afraid. And the funny thing is, I told you guys about this fight on my channel. I told you this was what they were building to. And this was like a year and a half or more ago. But new media on the right side of history, get it right again. Now the fight looks like it's here. It's been building for a while. Like the news eventually came out and other people started reporting it. But I remember I heard from some connects that this was a fight that they were trying to pursue. And it looks like it's here. And what better time? Like I said, boxing has been very slow, in my opinion. And these are some great fights. So I can't wait to see what fights are announced. I don't know who's driving back and forth. That's crazy. These are just some really good fights. Tank had a recent death of a friend. So I know he's going to be motivated and probably dedicate the fight in his honor. Things like that on the trunks or something like that. Like I said, it's just a great fight. I can't complain. Listen, I'm a fair critic. I give criticism when it's due. I'm objective. I tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly. Right now, the fights I'm hearing, Jason Rosario versus Charlo, Gervonta Tank Davis, and Leo Santa Cruz. These are great fights. Jamal Charlo and Sergey Derevyanchenko. This is monstrous. This is monstrous. And again, old media, they're going to have a difficult time trying to explain this away and find reasons to hate, the stuff that they've done. Like I said, old media last year, they said Showtime, why should people have the Showtime boxing? Because Fox was getting it. And I told you guys, if you guys listen to my videos, I told you it was Fox's first year in the partnership with PBC. So to me, it made sense why PBC would, for Fox's first year, give him Errol Spence, Mikey Garcia, give him Errol Spence versus Sean Porter, and Keith Thurman versus Manny Pacquiao. But I told you last year when that was going on in real time that I don't see that being the case for so long. PBC and Showtime Boxing and Steven Espinoza have had a long-term partnership. Both of the deals for Fox and Showtime were extended for like 4 years or so. So they're not going to, I think PBC just gave Fox a lot of the bigger fights because it was their first year kind of working together. So they had to earn that trust, showed that they could do ratings, and they gave them the biggest stuff. And a lot of people in old media worried and said, oh, Showtime's going out of business and, none of the good fights are on Showtime. But I think that was just for the first year. I think now these fights that are Showtime is set to get, you absolutely need Showtime Boxing or to get the Showtime pay-per-view. And now you're going to see the fights distributed probably a bit more balanced and fair. But when you have it's like if you have they say most businesses falter if they are in the first or second year. So I think they had to just establish that history of trust, give Fox some big, because that was the new partnership. So, they had to get their flow right, get their commentary crew, the set, the lighting. They had to give them some big fights. But now you're seeing much more evenly distributed. And I think that was always the long-term goal. That's why Showtime is going to have a star like Gervonta Davis. a star like Jermall Charlo, and Fox will get a star like Jermell Charlo against Rosario. So I think it's going to be a lot more balanced. So that's why I don't really sweat it. I don't really panic. You just got to follow the trends, look at the signs and stuff like that. But big announcement, Tank versus Leo Santa Cruz. I like both guys. I've covered both guys. I've interviewed both guys. Massive fan of both guys. This is big. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. We'll wait for Showtime to confirm it, but Lucy, you got some explaining to do. Old Media got a lot of explaining to do, because this is what they feared. They feared that PBC and Al Heyman and Tank and Charlos and the whole Steven Espinoza, the whole ship, they were waiting for it to sink. And all the while, Old Media is riding for everybody else. And then now, what are you going to say? You know, I know people are going to try to, Old Media is going to try to find ways. They're going to complain like they always do and say, oh, Gervonta Davis, that's an okay fight, him and Leo Santa Cruz, but it's not worth pay-per-view. You know, this is the type of petty games that they try to play. If you're a boxing fan, it's a pay-per-view. We're in a pandemic. Tank's a star. Leo Santa Cruz is a star with a name. These guys are built. If you want the fight in a pandemic, fucking pay for it. Period. But once again, Old Media, knowing they're getting destroyed by new media and the stuff that they said didn't come true, they're going to try to find ways to weasel out and ways to try to make these announcements sound less than. Like, oh, why is this fight on pay-per-view, or nitpicking? But they're not saying that about some of the top ranked cards. That's not on pay-per-view, but is there anybody on the cards that have been announced that is big as Tank versus Leo Santa Cruz or Golden Boy? It's not a pay-per-view per se, but you have to pay $20 a month. So Virgil Ortiz is fighting and they have put no promotion forth. I can't see Showtime or Fox doing that. Virgil Ortiz versus Samuel Vargas, you have to pay $20 for that. So, you know, what are we talking about? But we'll see how it all plays out. New media, like I told you, sometimes it's just a matter of waiting. But I'm excited about all these announcements. Shout out to Tank, willing to test himself. Leo Santa Cruz, same thing, willing to test himself. And I was going to say Leo Santa Cruz is undefeated, but he's not. But I think there's one loss between the two of them. And Leo Santa Cruz came back and avenged that loss. I was at that fight with Frampton. So I'm looking forward to it. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. We working. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.